So you're a student looking for your first car, but your parents say it's gotta be cheap, reliable, and good on gas. And if your parents like you, maybe even safe too. Well, I'm here to tell you, you can have all that without being as boring as that English assignment you should probably be doing right now.
Oh, is that what you think?
So, here are 17 ideal first cars that are actually fun to drive. Let's get into it. What better way to start than with a rear-wheel drive, 6-speed manual sports car that can be had for around $10,000. The Toyota 86 is one of the most fun little sports cars you can buy. With those skinny little tires and 200 horsepower, you'll have a blast when the road gets twisty. And being a Toyota, you shouldn't be hit with too many surprise repair bills. You can pick up a 2013 model that was sold under the Scion brand for as little as 10,000 bucks. The 86 will give you plenty of miles per gallon, but it's actually one of the most expensive cars on our list. So if you want a Japanese sports car for even less, the Nissan 350Z might be for you. Nissan have been making sports cars for decades, from the beautiful 240Z of the 70s to the brand new 2023Z. And you can now have part of that heritage for around $8,000. That'll get you a lively V6 engine, 280 horsepower, and all the potential for an awesome project car. If that's still over your budget, but you want something with just as much drift potential, you'll want to take a look at the SN95 Mustang. The 4th gen Mustang might not be the coolest pony car ever, but right now they're an absolute steal at under $6,000. And for that, you're getting a V8 and a chassis that'll take whatever mods you want to throw at it. Just look at the drift missile that Chris Fix created with the 98 Mustang. If the Mustang isn't your speed, well, here's another American V8 sports car you can have for well below 10,000 bucks, the C4 Corvette. Corvette has always been an incredible value, but you'll have to go all the way back to the 90s to get one on your student budget.
This is the 1990s.
But that isn't such a bad thing. The C4 Vet still looks awesome today, with clean lines, quad exhausts, and most importantly, pop-up headlights. When the C4 launched, GM claimed that it would be able to out-corner any European sports car at the time. That claim might not have been entirely true.
It's not true.
But who cares when you can now pick one up for right around $6,000 US. Now, if you want a car that's truly good in the Benz, Europe is still the best place to look. And the Ford Fiesta ST is one of the most fun cars on the road. Ford really knows how to make city cars fun. And even though we've missed out on most of them here in the US, they're absolutely everywhere in places like the UK.
Cheers, Mike.
And it's easy to see why. With the ST, you get 200 horsepower, a 6-speed manual transmission, and one of the sweetest handling cars of any size. And the best part is, you can find these little pocket rockets for around $10,000. But if you want a car that's fun on mountain roads and don't need the back seats or a big trunk, then why not just get the default sports car, the Mazda Miata? Look, I don't need to tell you why you should buy a Miata. If you're a car enthusiast, and you're watching Ideal, so you are, then you have to drive Mazda's little sports car at some point in your life. And it doesn't matter if it's the original Smiley Face NA, the NB, or the 3rd gen NC, like this one we found for under $8,000. They're all amazing to drive. And I guarantee you won't find a more fun, better balanced car for the money. They could use a bit more power, sure. But slow car fast, fast car slow.
What?
Real quick, I'd like to thank Policy Genius for sponsoring today's video. Rising inflation rates are causing concern around the country. And did you know one of the easiest ways to save money is to reshop your home and auto insurance? Yeah, Policy Genius is super easy to compare both all in one place. And it's helped me and over 30 million people already. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find and buy the insurance that you need. And getting started is easy. First, head to policygenius.com/idealcars and answer a few quick questions about yourself and your property. Policy Genius will show you price estimates for policies that fit your needs and help you find the best option. Their team of experts will look for ways to save you more, especially when you bundle your home and auto policies. The Policy Genius team works for you, not the insurance companies. And if you find a better rate than what you're paying now, they're gonna switch you over for free. Now, Policy Genius has saved customers an average of $1,250 per year over what they were paying for home and auto insurance already. And they provide top-notch service with thousands of 5-star reviews. So support the sponsors that support us and go check out policygenius.com/idealcars. Now, back to the show.
But if you want something just a little more sensible, with room for your buddies in the back, then the Golf GTI could be worth a look. VW invented the hot hatch in 1976 with the original GTI, and they've been the best in the business ever since. The one we'd recommend is the Mark 6 generation, for the best mix of speed and price. With 2013 models now going for around 10 grand, you'll get 210 horsepower from the 2-liter engine, which is enough to hit 60 miles an hour in under 7 seconds. But not so much that you'll lose your license the day after getting it.
Hi, Daddy!
They're a blast to drive and are built better than even some luxury cars. Now, if that all sounds perfect, but you prefer your hatchbacks with a little more Japanese flavor, then you can have a Honda Civic Si for roughly the same price. Just like the Golf, the Civic will give you around 200 horses from the 4-banger up front. But it does it without the use of a turbocharger. They'll both cost you close to $10,000. But if you see a Honda in your future, I'd go for the 8th gen Civic Si and set about turning it into your very own baby Type R. Before we get into a couple of cars that are just as at home in the fields as they are in the high school parking lot, make sure to go check out the Ideal Car Strategies, where we'll show you how to upgrade from any car on this list to your dream car, and maybe even make some money along the way. Click up here or at the link in the description to get 7 steps closer to owning your ideal car. Now, sporty compact cars are nice, but to go on a real adventure, you'll need something a bit tougher. And the Jeep Wrangler TJ is the perfect budget off-roader. First cars are all about getting the freedom to go anywhere you want, without being annoyed or embarrassed by your parents.
You embarrass me!
And nothing says freedom quite like a Jeep Wrangler.
Give me liberty or give me death.
You can pick one of these up for around 7 grand, then spend every weekend completely restoring it. Or take off the doors, add some massive tires, and create the ultimate go-anywhere vehicle. Whatever you do with it, the Wrangler will be hard to beat for 7,000 bucks. Side note though, they do drive a bit like a 1940s tractor on and off the pavement. But hey, freedom comes at a price.
It's a price I'm willing to pay.
But what's that? You need more doors on your Jeep? Then save yourself even more money and pick up an XJ Cherokee. SUVs are everywhere now, but the Jeep Cherokee could probably claim to be one of the first over 40 years ago. And the 2nd gen is still going strong today. If you want something that'll go just about anywhere with you, your friends, your dog, and anything else you want to throw in the back, you can't go wrong with an XJ Cherokee. And they drive better than the TJ. Perhaps not quite as capable off-road though, but a great choice nonetheless. Now, if you're more about smooth rally trails than go anywhere off-roading, then Subaru is probably one of the first names that comes to mind. Impreza, WRX, STI. These are all legendary names.
Legend. Wait for it. And I hope you're not lactose intolerant because the second half of that word is dairy.
And while you can't get a good example of any of those on our budget, there's a bit of a forgotten icon that'll get you really close. The Impreza 2.5 RS was launched in 1998. And while it was down on power and missing the turbo, you still got a 2.5-liter flat 4, all-wheel drive, and styling cues lifted directly from the WRX. This is a great car bone stock, and can easily be made even better with a little work. But if you need a bit more space, then there's another Subaru for you. The Forester XT is a big, practical SUV thing that still knows how to have fun, and will get you to 60 miles an hour in right around 6 seconds. That's faster than some of the other cars on this list. And this thing is big enough to take everything you own along for the ride. So if you need the space, pick up a Forester for around 7 grand, and it'll be all the car you'll ever need. Just don't get the automatic version. That transmission is junk. If you don't need the extra space, you could have just as much fun with our next 2 cars, the Honda Fit and the Mini Cooper. Let's start with the Fit. This might seem like a boring choice, but they can be an absolute blast to drive. With hardly any power, front-wheel drive, and skinny tires, you can floor the accelerator whenever you want, without getting into too much trouble. And according to Brad, these can actually look kinda cool with a few aftermarket accessories, as can the Mini Cooper. Mini makes some of the best looking small cars around, and even the base models are great to drive. But if you look carefully, you can grab one with the supercharged 1.6 for around $6,000. And that might just be the most fun car on this whole list. The older Cooper S is an absolute sweetheart of a car. And while maintaining and repairing it can cost a little more, just go drive one. Then decide if the juice is worth the squeeze. Another way to have fun on a budget, while also kind of looking like a mini R8, is with the first generation Audi TT. The Audi R8 is an awesome first supercar, but even the oldest, highest mileage example you can find will set you back way over 60 grand. So what do you do if you only have 1/10 of that to spend? Well, you get an Audi TT and pretend no one will know the difference. But in all seriousness, the TT is still a sweet little car, and are also a steal at under $6,000 for an early 2000s model. Go for the 225 horse 1.8T, or step up to a 3.2 liter VR6 model, and have yourself an R32 on a budget. But a word of caution, find a good one, and know what you're getting yourself into, before you pull the trigger on an old Audi.
Pull the trigger! Do it! Do it!
They're great cars, but the wrong example can get expensive quick. Ask me how I know. If you want something a bit more modern that looks just as original, then the Hyundai Veloster might be for you. Hyundai aren't really known for being fun or exciting, but in recent years, they're really changing their image. And with the Veloster, you can have a futuristic looking hatch for under 7 grand. You'll even be getting that lovely 6-speed manual box that's becoming such a rare thing these days. However, if you have a bit more to spend on your first car, you'll want to take a look at our honorable mention. The Ford Mustang is known for its big V8 engine, but with today's gas prices, the 2.3 EcoBoost makes a lot of sense. You still get the muscle car looks, while saving a ton of money. And there's all those turbo noises that you won't get on the V8. This could be your ideal first ride if you can stretch to around 15 grand. It's not the car I'd buy, if I'm honest, but I can see why you might. So, what's my pick? Well, truth be told, I'd have to go Golf GTI. It's the most well-rounded and has an interior that hits way above its pay grade. It's infinitely tunable, good-looking, and fast. If I didn't need the utilitarianism of a hot hatch though, I'm going 86 in the form of the Scion FRS. It's a brilliant little car. Go drive one. You'll see what I mean. So, what would your dream first car be? If you had to pick one on this list, which one are you taking home? Let us know down in the comments. Check out the Ideal merch if you want to join the fam. This is Trav. Thanks for watching this episode of Idealist. I'll catch you guys next time.